Hi, let's talk about building data models. What is it? So, a data model is a definition of structured data, and the act of data modeling defines an information system. So, when we talk about building data model, we're defining the information in the building, and it's supposed to be plain language understanding of buildings. A building is a structure with floors and spaces or rooms on those floors. And that is the very simple hierarchical data model that we've adopted at Kaiterra. And the reason we do that is to give structure to the air quality data, give context to the air quality data so that it's easier to analyze, it's easier to make sense of in a natural way of thinking. So, air quality, indoor air quality in particular, is only makes sense if you know the location of that air, right? So, you need to know the floor, the space, and the richer that data is, the more insights you can get. So, what is that space? Is it a meeting room? Is it an open space? Is it a kitchen? Uh, what floor is it on, etc. So, in order to do an aggregation of air quality by floor, like you see here, we need to know about those floors, and that is what the building data model is. So, let's talk about how to set it up. So, when you have a Kaiterra account, before you install devices, you need to create a building and describe it so that when you install the devices, you have a place to put them uh, in your account. So when you sign up for a Kaiterra and when you buy our devices, the first thing you need to do is create a building for your devices to live in before you install them, before you deploy them. I'm in an account now that already has 5 buildings in it, but let's start from scratch by creating a new building. So building data model, we're starting to capture information about the building as soon as you start creating it. So first you can give it a name. Let's just take one like 30 Rockefeller Center. Address, that should be easy, 30 Rock on the plaza. Building type is going to be useful if you have a portfolio of many different building types. So this one is an office building. And building code is just going to be helpful if you refer to buildings in your portfolio with shorthand, which is often the case. For example, this would be 30 Rock, or an abbreviation of the address, just to keep things straight. Then you can define preliminary operating hours of your building, and the defaults are 8 to 6, Monday through Friday. So just keep that. Define how many floors are in the building. So even if you're a tenant and you're just renting one or a couple floors of the building, it's still best practice to describe the building as a whole, because if you go in the elevator, you're hitting the floor of the one you occupy. So let's say 10th floor, 9th floor. It wouldn't make sense if it was first floor, second floor, if you're just renting one floor. So I would describe 30 Rock accurately, that the ground floor starts on 0 in the United States. In Europe, it starts on 1. And I don't know how many floors Rock Center has, or 30 Rock has off the top of my head, but it's many. So let's just say 40. And then we can go ahead and add the building. Now that we've added a building, 30 Rockefeller Center, we need to define the floors, the spaces, and the devices inside it. So the floors we've already defined, but here, if you wanted to add friendly names for your floor, like calling floor 0 the lobby, you could. This is purely optional, but it makes things easier to read in your report. And if you, let's say you have a big building, many floors, lots of spaces, and you don't want to do all this manual entry, that's totally fine. You can give us a CSV of your building with all the floor spaces and even the devices where they are, and we can upload this for you. In the future, we'll give you a self-serve CSV tool so you can do it on your own, but our customer success team is happy to help you do this. But if you have a building with a few floors, a few spaces, this is how you would do it manually. You can manually enter these. So let's talk about creating space. Easy to add. Just add your space. Select the floor that it's going to be on. Let's go for floor and floor 0. And space code is like a room number. It's what is on your floor plan. So I'll just put a typical lobby one, which is like 01A. Friendly space name. What do you call it? So this one's lobby. The space type is a description of the space. So you can have cafes, kitchens, break rooms. This one is just an open area. So I'm just going to look for open. I'll just say open workspace. And the capacity, this is whatever the max number of people you can fit in that space. I'm just going to put 25. If you have installed devices, which I do not, I do not have devices associated with this building, I could select them here. So I don't right now, so I won't do it at this step. And let's just put 100 square feet for the area. This is optional, but also it can help you in reporting if you want to capture it. So here I've created my first space, the space type, the floor. These are examples of our building data model, and this just helps you when you do reports, when you look at your air quality by floor or by space type. This is where that data comes in handy. So I'm just going to navigate back to a building with spaces and floors and devices in them so you can see this is Capitol Records, 6 floors, and you can see all the spaces on the floor and the devices in the spaces. So you can manage all your spaces in one place here. This is just allows you to, if you wanted to change something about how you've captured the space or change the device in the space, here's where you could do it. Or if you wanted to add some information that you didn't have at the time you created, you can come here and put it later, like we can put in the dimensions for the space. And likewise for your devices, you can place them in spaces accordingly. A space can have more than one device. And I am in the manage section, and this is where I take care of that administration of creating the buildings, defining the floors and spaces, and managing the devices where they are location-wise. So I hope that makes sense. It's a quick overview of building data model and how to create a building, how to add floors, and why you do this, just so your data is richer with this structured data in it.